West Covina on the eastbound side of the 10 at Pacific West Covina Parkway. A crash with the right lane blocked. Right around Puente Avenue, the slow speeds. Baldwin Park on the 10 west at Francisquita La Puente. The left lane blocked with a collision. Loaded up here from Vincent Glendora. Pasadena on the 134 east at San Rafael. The right lane is blocked with a crash. As you approach the 2 is where things slow down. And the Sepulveda Pass, a wreck with an ongoing investigation. 405 north of Ventura Boulevard. 2 the right lanes are blocked. The off-ramp shut down. Stop and go from Getty.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. So great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to now.
Is this the dagger?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
More health issues for first-year Colorado football coach Deion Sanders. Deion will have surgery this morning to remove blood clots in his right leg. He will miss the Pac-12 Conference Media Day Friday in Las Vegas. Deion had surgery on June 22nd to remove blood clots in his left leg. Deion posted on Instagram yesterday that he will be ready to coach his new team when preseason camp starts next month. The New York Jets are the first NFL team to open training camp. They hit the field yesterday in Florham Park, New Jersey. The Chargers and Rams open up camp on Tuesday. Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias did not have a good day in Baltimore yesterday. Urias gave up a career-high 8 runs in 5 innings. Before the game, LSU women's basketball star Angel Reese, a Baltimore native, threw out the first pitch. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
That's Stevie Wonder from his Hotter Than July album. And that's about what we're experiencing right now, right? It is hotter than July. And every one of us is trying to navigate it as best we can. We had conversations in the previous days about what this extended heat really means for the future of our planet. Yeah, it's hot everywhere in this country right about now. I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you tuned in. On the B side of this hour, a conversation with the only African-American physician specializing in facial plastic surgery, prominent surgeon Dr. Carl Truesdale, who has a new venture he'll unveil for us on the backside of this hour. But we commence this hour with this. Today, in case you didn't know it, is International Chess Day. And I'm prepared now for a conversation with one of the 3 Black Grandmasters in the world. You heard me right. Out of 1,700 Grandmasters around the globe, there are only 3 Black Grandmasters on the planet. One of the three is Grandmaster Pontus Carlsson, who I am honored to have on this program right now. Grandmaster Carlson, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No, it's a great delight to have you on. Thank you for the time. We got about 25, 30 minutes here, and I'm just delighted to talk to you and thank you for the time. I'm sure there are all kind of folk pulling at you, given your iconic status on this International Chess Day, but thank you for giving us some time here on Tavis Smiley. Let me start with this. For those who don't know chess, all they know is checkers, and they don't know chess. What does it mean to be a grandmaster, and how does one become a grandmaster? And forgive me for asking some basic rudimentary questions, but I want to make sure the audience follows us and knows what we're talking about for those who don't play chess. So again, what does it mean to be a grandmaster, and how does one become a grandmaster in chess?
Yeah, no, it's basically you can compare it to doctorate like 3 times. Because it's as you mentioned there, the numbers. It's not many people that have made it throughout history, and it's very. It's something that you basically more or less. Now I'm simplifying it a bit. You more or less win 3 to 4 international tournaments, and then you basically also have to get over a certain rating level, which is 2,500 points on the rating chart. And if you do that, and there are also more detailed requirements, of course. It cannot be, you can't basically organize a tournament in your living room and submit it. So, of course, yeah. So for all those who have this idea, I'm sorry. that hole is already covered, So you can't do that. It has to be official tournaments, with a certain categories, certain level of the players. And if you do that step, then you make it. And then you have to also wait, of course, for the international body, FIDE, which is the World Chess Federation, for them to confirm the title, and then you can enjoy it the rest of your life.
Your explanation is so simple, but I know it's not easy to do. So let me ask you this question: how difficult is it to become a grandmaster? I can only imagine, but just give me some sense of how hard it is to pull this off.
Well, I mean, in Sweden, for example, which is one of my countries, there has been 22 people throughout the whole history, throughout the whole history of chess. And people have played chess, I mean, since, the rating system it has been existed for almost 200 years now. So since then, there has only been 22 people who has made it, And I'm not sure about the numbers in the U.S., but it's not that many,
Yeah.
It can maybe 50, 60 somewhere because it's a bigger country, but it's not more than that has made it throughout the history.
Yeah.
So it's quite difficult to become, and like I said before, it's like if you doctorate 3 times, which is I don't think many people have done that.
Yeah, no, it's a challenge, and one that you met and conquered. Let me ask how you came to start playing chess. I see more kids playing it now, more black kids, in fact, playing chess now than were playing when I was growing up. All we played was checkers, but I see more black kids playing chess these days. But how did you come to play this game?
Well, I originally I'm from Colombia, so I got adopted to Sweden, and then basically it was my father who taught me chess when I was 4, and he taught me the pieces, how you move and so on, and then because he's an avid player, and then I started to play, and basically. I think I liked it quite early because I was also quite good at it. And, if you win, then, of course, you tend to continue, right?
Yeah. You started playing as a kid, as you said a moment ago. Your dad taught you. You started playing as a kid, and you were pretty good at it. Let me ask a question that may not have an easy answer, but are there certain qualities, certain traits that lead to one or that can help one or indicate that one can be a good, great chess player? Are there certain qualities?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, I mean, of course, you also have the classical answer, that of course you need hard work,
Hard work,
It
yes,
doesn't
sure.
matter how much talent you have, I don't think anyone can do your job, to be such an excellent talk show host. I don't think this is or radio host, I don't think that is for anyone either. It's some people have more talent and some people have less talent. So of course, hard work is one of those. You need to work on your game. So train basically, so play, look at old matches. But if you have like a good memory, for example, it helps. If you are logical, which I have a very good logical sense, so then of course this has helped me a lot in chess. And if you have the memory, like if you look at the top 10 players, most of them have photographic memories.
So
that really helps.
Yeah, so I hear good memory and I hear logic. I want to pick up on those two things when we come forward in our conversation with one of the only 3 Black Grandmasters in the game of chess in the world. He's Grandmaster Pontus Carlsson, and you're listening to him right now on Tavis Smiley.
We've got a lot to talk about. Good thing we've got 3 hours. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I'm looking for fuel injector cleaner.
Right now, buy a bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner and get one free. Only at AutoZone.
Will it also help with my mileage?
Get everything you need to restore your performance in MPGs.
Get in zone.
Wait, is it good for trucks too?
Whatever vehicle you have, you can find the right products and parts at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Girl, I have a secret. When I get stressed out, I get sweaty. That's why I use Secret Clinical Antiperspirant. It's like my own secret weapon. For 72 hours, I get Secret's strongest protection against sweat caused by stress, heat, and activity, because you know how crazy life can get. Plus, it's made with advanced odor fighters that don't just cover up smelliness. They help prevent it from happening in the first place. Believe me, if I weren't wearing Secret, I'd be a hot, smelly mess. Thankfully, Secret works.
What's up, LA? The Reparationist community got something real special going down in historic Leimert Park. August 12th, 2023, this event is sponsored by Reparations United and Black Pact, fighting for justice and empowering our community. Together, we can make moves. We have an insane lineup for y'all. The sultry Rotimi, the king of LA, The Game, smooth Eric Benet, and none other than the powerful sounds of blackness. Also, we have some special guests in the house. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lee, State Senator Stephen Bradford, LA's beloved Councilwoman Heather Hutt, and many more. They're bringing their passion and leadership to the stage. Mark your calendars, August 12th, 2023, Leimert Park. Let's come together, support each other, and make a difference. Peace, love, and reparations benefit concert and unity rally. Be there or be left out. Produced by Tara Perry of Black Pact and Cam Howard of Reparations United.
To my hometown, my community. Some of you have known me my whole life. Do you notice anything different about the kids in the neighborhood? Ever paid attention? You might start with gifts, money, attention. These are signs. Child trafficking is happening right here in this town. So don't just watch through the window. Pay attention. Because the more we know, the more we'll all know to say no. Learn the signs to look for and how to help at no-to-say-no.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley, and we are in conversation with one of the 3 Black Grandmasters at the game of chess on the entire planet. His name is Pontus Carlsson. He's joining us live right now from Sweden. His next big tournament is the Biel International Chess Festival in Switzerland. We'll talk about that in a moment. But again, in case you've just tuned in, there are only 1,700 grandmasters in the world. Only 3 are black, and Pontus Carlsson is one of them. And I'm pleased to be in dialogue with Grandmaster Carlson. I was asking him moments ago what kind of traits one needs to become a great chess player. He said good memory and logic, and something told me just to look up what great chess players have to say about the traits that one needs to become a great chess player. And these are some of them, Grandmaster Carlson, that I am reading now online. Patience, memory, adaptation, confidence, calculation, pattern recognition, analytical thoroughness, concentration, and passion. I want to talk to you about a couple of those before we move forward and talk about the work that you are doing to expand the global reach of the game of chess. Let me start with a pattern recognition. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, no, it's something that is very important because it's also connected a bit there with the memory. That's because there are certain patterns in a chess game that are repetitive. In every single game, you have those patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's very important to have a good memory for it and also to understand it, and because it can be like a certain move or a combination of moves that have been executed before, and then you see the same pattern in your game that you are playing right now, and then you just remember, oh, this pattern, I know this pattern, and then he played like this in that one, and okay, then I will follow that if the guy won. If he lost, I will try to do something else. so it's like, yeah, I mean, you don't want to, follow a losing path.
Yeah.
But in case you can do it, and in case you know the pattern, then you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Because there are kind of repetitive things, and this is also something that really helps you in school. Like, for example, if you are studying something, because it's the same there,
Yeah.
in courses and classes,
No, so I hear your point about pattern recognition, that there are patterns in the game of chess, and the sooner you recognize those, the better off you are. But it seems to me the flip side of pattern recognition is one of the other issues that great chess players suggest you need to have, and that is the ability to adapt. So talk to me about adaptation when you're playing at the Grandmaster level.
Yeah, no, because this is, you can say, it's a difference between, we also have lower titles like International Master or FIDE Master or Candidate Master, which are, or in US experts and Master players, which are lower titles than Grandmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can say that this difference there is, Grandmasters, we are experts. I mean, we are world class in this adaptation process, So, for example, if we can have many different styles. It's like in sports. You can have teams can play in different ways,
mm-hmm.
and we can like adapt our tactics. Our strategy, how we set up the game,
mm-hmm.
Depending on the qualities of the opponent.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I see some weakness in a certain way, then I can switch style.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a boxer, who can switch from southpaw
mm-hmm.
to another style.
Yeah.
And it's very few, I think, that can do that. That can go just switch styles however they want. And this is what you can do if you're a Grandmaster, because then you have the skills, you have the knowledge, so you can do that.
Yeah, that boxing analogy is a great analogy. I box as my workout, and so I understand what it means to be able to switch to the southpaw stance if and when you need to. Let me ask you now about. We've talked about memory, we've talked about logic, we've talked about pattern recognition, we've talked about adaptation. The one I want to get to is patience and confidence, and I want to connect those two things because one, just watching the game of chess, it takes patience to watch it, much less to play it, and obviously there's a confidence that comes along with playing the game at the Grandmaster level the longer the game goes on. So talk to me about how you develop the patience and the confidence to become a Black Grandmaster.
I think this is also something that you have a bit inside you,
mm-hmm.
because yes, that some people, they like to, sit down and think a bit more. Others, they just take some quick impulsive decision, and
mm-hmm.
then they go with that. And I think that a lot of chess players are, more that's the thinking type,
mm-hmm.
that sits down and reflects and so on. And so part of it, I think you have already, this patience, that because you can always see it if you are in a school class, for example, you can spot the chess players there, because if it's math, for example, and you can see that the chess players, they more or less never raise their hands. Because they have the patience, They don't raise their hands to ask the teacher for help. First, they try to solve it, because you have this problem-solving attitude, and you also have this problem-solving interest, if you are a chess player. And if you are not a chess player from the start, you develop those abilities, So there's many kids that start to play chess, and their parents put them in chess school, and they don't have these abilities from the start.
Yeah.
But then they develop them, because this comes also with chess, because if you have a game and you have a clock, you know exactly how long time the maximal playing time is, more or less. You know that. And then if you want to win the game, for example, you need to use your time. You need to sit there and think. You need to reflect. You need to analyze, form a strategy, and try to predict your opponent's moves, and try to predict what they're trying to do. And if you basically are able to do all this, then you will get patience, because it's going to take you time. You can't do that. 10 seconds, or so it is.
Yeah. You said earlier that you knew that you enjoyed playing chess early on. You started playing as a kid. Your dad taught you. You liked it. Yeah. But when did you know that you were really good, or could be really good at the game of chess? When did you figure that part out, that you were good at this and this was something that you could succeed at?
Well, I mean, my first tournament was fun but horrible. Yeah? I was lost in my first tournament, because I started to play. I started to play with the older kids before I was actually even allowed to play, because you had to be 7 to enter the tournament, and I was not even 5 when I entered my first tournament.
How old? How old?
I was approaching 5. So I was lost.
Hold up. You were approaching the age of 5 when you entered your first tournament?
Yeah. But I wasn't really allowed to play. But my father actually had some special condition. So that was first I was lost, But then I learned from that, So I trained a little bit with my father, and I saw what they were doing, And then second one I won, So I learned quickly. So I was the first one, so I was a quick learner, but I was also competitive, because, to be frank, it wasn't, I had like a special upbringing in the sense that I came from Colombia, to Sweden. And Sweden is, basically back then, it was not many black people at all in the whole country, So I was already like, it was a bit special, you can say, in that sense that people, they didn't know how to speak to me. They didn't know who I was, and they didn't know much. So it always, I had some problems, of course, in school and with teachers and the adults. They were not nice. They were using the N-words. They were saying really bad things. So I think I got competitive because of that also. To be frankly honest and open with it. It made me like, okay, listen, I will show you that I can succeed in chess, because I'm not stupid,
Yeah.
and I think that also was the motivation a bit,
No, that's a black thing that is consistent anywhere in the world. When black folk get put upon, when they get called out of their name, the N-word, as you heard Grandmaster Carlson say a moment ago, and people start trying to make fun of you, that's part of our DNA. Black DNA all around the world. We will show you, as we say, we can show you better than we can tell you. We can show you better than we can tell you, and that's what Grandmaster Carlson did when they started belittling him as a black man in Sweden. Let me just say while we're talking about this, I've mentioned that there are 1,700 Grandmasters worldwide, only 3 African Americans, and I'm sad to report that none of those 3 are African American. All 3 of these black Grandmasters on the planet are born in different countries. So there is no African American grandmaster in the game of chess. Maybe we can change that in the years to come. That said, let me ask you quickly here about concentration. We talked about patience early. We talked about confidence, and you just gave us some sense of how you built your confidence even as a young man, being disrespected and disenfranchised by some of the white folk in Sweden. But talk to me when you're playing the game about concentration. And I ask this Grandmaster Carlson, because so many of us, whether we're playing games or whether we're at work, whatever we're doing, so many of us throw up our hands and give up on project X, Y, or Z simply because it takes so long and we lose concentration. You cannot lose concentration if you're going to be a grandmaster at the game of chess. So talk to me very quickly here about your concentration when you're playing a game.
Yeah, no, it's very important to keep like a high concentration level, and I have to say also this that was also, you asked me about the chess,
Mm-hmm.
That's also a reason why I went into chess, because I used to play football, soccer as you call it over there,
Mm-hmm.
On high level as well. So I used to play in the highest junior category, but I liked chess more because it was more inclusive,
Mm-hmm.
It was so much more inclusive because people were nicer,
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, for me, it was like the place where I could have my mental rest from the rest of society and all the problems, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
how it can be.
Mm-hmm.
And so that for me was, it's also this, that I found like the concentration level that I found through chess, I have used the rest of my life,
Mm.
that the ability to concentrate and
Yes.
to focus on things, and it's something that it's very useful in business, in the trade and industry, and in also in school, like I said, that
Yeah.
this ability that you can just, okay, now I have to focus, I have this test, or I have this meeting, or I have this negotiation, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
Just this ability that I just have like a button, that I can just click.
Nope, I understand.
And that comes from chess.
Nope, I hear it.
That 100% comes from chess.
Nope, I feel the same way about boxing. If you box, there's so many things you learn in the game of boxing. That's why they call it the sweet science. So many things you can apply to your own life, and I hear the same thing about chess. I've got less than 2 minutes with you, and I thank you for joining us live from Sweden. In these less than 2 minutes, tell me about the work that you're doing to expand the global reach of the game of chess.
Yeah, no, we have a non-profit called Business Meets Chess and Kids, where we actually pair kids from inner city communities together with the business communities. And then they do mentorship, and they meet through chess, and they play something called tandem chess together, both live and online, which is two people in the same team, so one business person together with a child from an inner city community, and then they meet other equally formed teams, equally composed teams in a social event,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And we do this in Africa, we do this in Europe, we do this in the US, so we are on 3 continents. And then we also have different programs. We have these cross-culture girls, which is more than 500 girls from different countries across the world that meet up for chess training and female empowerment.
I love it.
And it's also social things, and then we also have like this movie called Building Minds with Chess,
Mm-hmm.
which I was actually on a couple of weeks ago for the Cannes Film Festival, and because it won some prize. So it also shows a bit about the benefits of chess, because this is what we are trying to use chess to connect people, to create like a change, It's also important to get like more, because in Africa, for example, you have a lot of smart kids.
Oh yeah, sure. I am grateful for the work that you are doing through your program, Business Meets Chess and Kids. Congratulations on that award at Cannes for the film about your work and witness. And I wish you all the best in your next tournament, the Biel International Chess Festival in Switzerland. Grandmaster Carlson, what an honor to have had you on this program. Wish we had more time, but thank you. And I wish all the best to you, sir.
Thank you. And businessmeetchessandkids.com.
There you go.
People want to check what we are doing.
I love it. Businessmeetschessandkids.com. Grandmaster Pontus Carlson, one of only 3 Black Grandmasters on the planet. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
We're glad you could join us. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now, here's the latest from the Black Information Network. New York City will be paying George Floyd protesters in a lawsuit settlement involving accusations of unlawful police tactics.
This settlement, which is historic and does send a message across the country that we have the right to protest.
The woman is among 1,300 people who claim they were unlawfully arrested or beaten by New York City police during the summer of 2020 while protesting the police killing of African-American George Floyd in Minnesota. A single winning ticket in the $1 billion Powerball lottery has been sold in Los Angeles, California. The lucky winner or winners can choose between $1 billion in annuity payments or go for the lump sum payment of $516 million. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
West Covina, on the eastbound side of the 10 Pacific West Covina Parkway, a crash with the right lane blocked. Right around Puente Avenue, the slow speeds. Baldwin Park on the 10 West at Francisquita La Puente, the left lane blocked with a collision. Loaded up here from Vincent Glendora. Pasadena on the 134 East at San Rafael, the right lane is blocked with a crash. As you approach the 2 is where things slow down. And the Sepulveda Pass, a wreck with an ongoing investigation. 405 north of Ventura Boulevard 2, the right lanes are blocked. The off-ramp shut down. Stop and go from Getty.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. So great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Is this the dagger? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
More health issues for first-year Colorado football coach Deion Sanders. Deion will have surgery this morning to remove blood clots in his right leg. He will miss the Pac-12 Conference Media Day Friday in Las Vegas. Deion has surgery on June 22nd to remove blood clots in his left leg. Deion posted on Instagram yesterday that he will be ready to coach his new team when preseason camp starts next month. The New York Jets are the first NFL team to open training camp. They hit the field yesterday in Florham Park, New Jersey. The Chargers and Rams open up camp on Tuesday. Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias did not have a good day in Baltimore yesterday. Urias gave up a career-high 8 runs in 5 innings. Before the game, LSU women's basketball star Angel Reese, a Baltimore native, threw out the first pitch. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like watering your lawn during the hottest time of the day and leaky faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life.
SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
I'm Tavis Smiley. A conversation now with the only African-American physician specializing in facial plastic surgery, prominent surgeon Dr. Carl Truesdale, who will also unpack for us a new venture he's working on right now. Pleased to have Dr. Carl Truesdale on Tavis Smiley. Dr. Truesdale, how are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me. It's a very kind introduction.
No, it's my great delight to have you on. Thank you for your time. Before I get to this new venture, this groundbreaking venture that you are working on with one of our other friends, our mutual friends, Dr. Robert Drummond, who is our resident physician, as we call him around here. Whenever there are health issues on this program, we call Dr. Robert Drummond. And so you and Dr. Drummond have partnered on this new institute, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. But I want to start by getting a better understanding of the backstory of an African-American who decides and trains to be a specialist in facial plastic surgery in Beverly Hills, no less. But tell me about the backstory of Carl Truesdale.
Well, backstory, I grew up in small town upstate New York. My dad's a scientist. My mom's an artist. And when I was young, I had a baby brother who passed away. That actually led me to pursue medicine. So I was 10 years old. Decided I wanted to be a doctor, went to Morehouse College, actually met Dr. Drummond during college. I was applying for medical school, had gotten into Hopkins. That's where he actually matriculated. We both went to Morehouse. So after Morehouse, I went to University of Pennsylvania for my medical training, University of Michigan for my head and neck surgery residency, and then came out to Beverly Hills to do my facial plastic surgery fellowship. I then just started my practice doing facial plastic reconstructive surgery, my own private practice here in Beverly Hills.
You can tell a Morehouse man, you just can't tell him much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is true of Dr. Drummond. I know, love him dearly. Let me go back, if I can. You went there, and so if it's too much, I'll back off of it. But since you went there, I want to follow you. I am always amazed, always fascinated by the backstory of people. Here you are, the only African-American specializing in facial plastic surgery, but you went into medicine, as you said earlier, because you lost a baby brother. Can you tell me more about that and how that motivated you to pursue the practice of medicine?
Absolutely. So, when my parents found out that they were going to have a complicated pregnancy, his diagnosis was something called trisomy 13, which is similar to Down syndrome, which is trisomy 21. So basically you have an extra 13th chromosome, which leads to a lot of developmental issues, in particular with the heart and the nervous system. So my brother only lived to 3 days, but when he passed, I found myself wanting to learn more about, why did this happen? I picked up some medical books and realized there are more disease processes out there than just my brother's problem. And so I started learning about this. I always loved science. My dad's a scientist. And so, I wanted to help people and also use science. So I decided to become a doctor. The transition from there was really, going through the training. I love working with my hands. I love the immediate output. But my background is also as a facial, as a portrait artist. So the mix of art and science to help people, there's no better way of doing that than what I do every day as a facial plastic surgeon. Yeah.
You'll get a kick out of this. I literally just this morning received an invitation. I'm often invited to speak and around the country at all kinds of conventions and conferences. And just reading an invitation that came into my office this morning before I came on the air from the National Organization for the Professional Advancement of Black Chemists and Chemical Engineers. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. Big convention, big conference in New Orleans, down in NOLA. They will be for the 50th anniversary of the National Organization for the Professional Advancement of Black Chemists and Chemical Engineers. Ironically, that invitation just came to me this morning. I haven't even had a chance to read it really or respond to it. We'll get around to that at some point. But I raised that because you mentioned that your dad was a chemist, which leads me to ask, what is it like as a black boy to grow up with a black dad who's a chemist?
You know, it's different because there are not many.
Yeah.
So my dad also went to Morehouse, and he got his PhD from Berkeley, and eventually went to Corning Incorporated, where he had a very long and illustrious career, actually doing physical chemistry, so designing new properties and new actual new chemical kind of compounds. And so seeing him growing up, using his mind, I remember him just writing down formulas on notebooks, just trying to figure things out, really inspired me to, really dive into science. So I've always been very curious, and, that kind of upbringing, it's no wonder I kind of pursued medicine.
Yeah. Now tell me quickly how and why it is that you got into facial plastic surgery.
So I fell in love with head and neck surgery, which is, anything above the shoulder. So ear, nose, throat, otolaryngology. One part of that is facial plastic and reconstructive surgery. And so I've always been an artist. You can check out my portrait work online. I've always drawn the human face, and it's always been something of an interest of mine. So seeing that I could help people kind of mold, and deal with the disease processes of the head and neck, and also make people look better, that ultimately is, what I found myself most attracted to. And so I'm just blessed to be able to do what I do every day.
Yep. Tell me how it feels. We tend to think of plastic surgery here in Los Angeles, and for that matter, across the country, around the world these days. We think of plastic surgery as an exercise in vanity. That's one way to look at it.
Right.
But the other way to look at it is when you're a plastic surgeon, and particularly, the only African American specializing in facial plastic surgery, that you do get a chance to make people not just look better, because that's subjective, but certainly to feel better about the way they look, to feel better about the way they show up in the world. I assume there must be some joy in that, some black joy in that reality.
Absolutely. I mean, we are not just our bodies. We are our, if you want to get into it, our spirit, our soul, our mind, whatever. But if you want to take care of people, a big part of that is how they feel. And how we feel, to some extent, is a reflection of how we see ourselves. If we look in the mirror, how other people treat us. And it's highly, correspondent to how we look. Plastic surgery means, it's to shape. Plastic isn't really about looking artificial. It's about natural results and just looking like your best self. At least that's how I approach it. And so my training, I can reconstruct a jaw. I can give a person a nose who doesn't have a nose. I can do all of those things, gunshot wounds. I can restore, head and neck cancer. People have lost tissue, but I also can do facelifts or rhinoplasties. The impact that I am able to make on my patients is amazing because at the end of the day, I'm restoring them. It's not really about changing them.
Yeah. Finally, in this regard, and we'll talk about this new institute when we come forward here, but I want to just ask one quick question in follow-up to what you said a moment ago, and that is what it must feel like when you give someone a nose who doesn't have one, when people have been disfigured and they come to you. What's that feel like when the process is all said and done and they've healed and they look happy and whole? And they feel better about themselves and how they show up in the world. How does that feel when you're the guy that made that happen?
I can't even really explain it. It's almost, it's a transformative thing. Like if you've given birth or you have a new child, every single time I'm able to kind of go along this journey with my patient, it's different, but it's heartwarming. It makes you feel like you have purpose. I really do feel like plastic surgery is one of my great purposes on earth. That's how I approach it. But it's amazing. I mean, it's life-changing, the tears of joy, the happiness my patients experience. It's just so fun to go along that ride with them.
His name is Dr. Carl Truesdale. He is housed. He's out in Beverly Hills, California. He's the only African-American specializing in facial plastic surgery. And along with our resident physician on this program, Dr. Robert Drummond, they have founded a groundbreaking new institute. We'll talk about that venture when we come forward with Dr. Carl Truesdale, that is, on Tavis Smiley.
Be sure to like and follow Tavis Smiley at The Real Tavis Smiley and get Twitter updates at Tavis Smiley. The conversation continues when we come forward. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCEL scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The family of Keenan Anderson is suing the city of Los Angeles for $100 million. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. Keenan Anderson, a high school English teacher that was visiting Los Angeles from Washington, D.C., was tragically killed at the hands of the Los Angeles Police Department in January of this year. His family, alongside civil rights and personal injury attorney Benjamin Crump and Carl Douglas, have announced a $100 million lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles. Crump and Douglas are representing Keenan Anderson's son, Sincere Anderson, and his mother, Gabrielle Hansel. The family is suing for civil rights violations, assault and battery, false imprisonment, and negligence on the part of the LAPD officers. The family of Keenan Anderson and attorneys Crump and Douglas want it to be known that this is only part of a systemic issue within the fabric of police departments everywhere.
Conversations that matter. You're listening to Tavis Smiley on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, Dr. Carl Truesdale, tell me about this groundbreaking venture that you and our friend Dr. Robert Drummond have undertaken.
It's my pleasure. So, my training as a facial plastic surgeon, encompasses everything from rhinoplasty, nose jobs, hairline lowering, hair transplants, all of that. But I really saw that there was a need, in particular for the Black community. There's an underserved kind of need for hair loss treatment. We all are familiar with Black hairstyling practices. Some are great, some aren't as great. And the issue is, people are left with damage, in particular Black women with certain hairstyles, from dreadlocks to traction alopecia, certain harsh chemicals. And the other thing that makes our hair different is that it's curlier, it's thinner, it's harder to transplant. A lot of surgeons don't actually want to treat Black hair for hair transplant. So seeing this unserved, unmet need and wanting to actually expand the practice, I met up with Dr. Drummond, who I've known for years, and said, let's start a business. And so here at Crown Hair Institute, we offer all treatments of hair loss, medical, surgical, related to hair transplantation, natural injections, as well as hairline lowering procedures.
You said a moment ago that oftentimes folk in your field don't want to treat, do not choose to treat black folk and their hair issues, hairline issues. You tell me. Is it just because of what you laid out, the difficulty in doing so, or am I missing something there?
Well, that technically it is more challenging to do. So our hairs are generally a little bit more friable. They're definitely more curly, which means that when we're actually doing the surgery to remove the hairs, the way I like to lay this out is think of the scalp as a field of crops. Taking crops from one field and moving them to another is what we're doing. That process is harder with black hairs. And so, it really takes a higher level of skill to be able to do that successfully. The other thing is, to understand our practices, how we relate and communicate. This is a whole other thing that I can talk about. It's one of the reasons why my practice has exploded, treating skin of color. But, it definitely is both aspects. When we talk to a patient who's coming in, say it's a black woman in their 50s who's lost their hair, it's like I'm talking to my mom or my sister or my auntie. It's not, there's a different level of familiarity, but also that technical expertise that we bring also highlights our ability.
When we come forward in our remaining moments with Dr. Carl Truesdale, I want to ask him how he would define the relationship that black folk have to their hair. It seems to me that there is no community that has the kind of relationship with our hair that black folk do. I want to get his take on that as the only African-American specializing in facial plastic surgery and now partners on this groundbreaking venture called the Crown Hair Institute. More with Dr. Carl Truesdale when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCES scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl, yeah. It's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Interrogating your assumptions and expanding your inventory of ideas. Let's get back to Tavis Smiley on KBLA Talk 1580.
Dr. Carl Truesdale, congratulations on the Crown Hair Institute that you have founded, this groundbreaking venture with Dr. Robert Drummond in Beverly Hills, California. Let me ask you how you would define the relationship that black people have uniquely with our hair.
Absolutely. I'd love to. Black people, our hair, black people in general, we have very different types of hair, from curly to straight and everything in between. But our history, it's important to think about that. So, back in time, we've seen, throughout history that black people have had braids. It's been recorded, hundreds, almost thousands of years in the past. It's a reflection of our self-expression. From fades or 360 or dreadlocks, it has significance in the way we feel about our spirituality. In the past, enslaved Africans actually used cornrows to kind of create maps to leave plantations. So there's resistance, there's a celebration of who we are and what we're able to do with ourselves, but also survival. And so attached to that, there's also this highly, very racist kind of connotation against us related to our hair. So us embracing our own hair, our natural hair, and all the things that we can do with our hair really is a part of our identity as black people.
Yep. You suggested earlier that many folk in this industry, your industry, who happen not to be black, shy away from, refuse to deal with black hair. For a variety of reasons, not the least of which is that it's complicated. It takes a certain specialty, takes time, takes patience to deal with it because our hair is different. The flip side of that is that there must be a huge benefit that black folk receive when they come to you and Dr. Drummond, in part because at least with the two of you, they know they're going to receive culturally competent care.
Absolutely. So Dr. Drummond and I both bring surgical expertise, knowledge. Dr. Drummond's an MD, PhD, molecular and cellular biology. I'm a double board certified facial plastic and reconstructive surgeon. And, we really bring that level of excellence, but also care. We want the greatest outcome for our patients. So if you're coming in and you don't have a hairline, or you want your hairline lowered, or you have a little bald spot, we can help you with that.
You talked earlier in this conversation, and I want to close with this, I think. You talked earlier in this conversation about the joy that you receive in being able to oftentimes repair disfigured faces when people come to you as a black specialist in facial plastic surgery. What do you hope to achieve, you and Dr. Drummond, in terms of black folk and their hair through this new institute, the Crown Hair Institute?
Well, the number one thing is empowerment. We want everyone to feel comfortable in their own skin. Part of the skin is the hair. And so, making it accessible for black folk, making it a reasonable price, providing an amazing result. And hopefully, this business will continue to grow so we can reach more people, train more doctors, and really, affect black hair and, advance the conversation nationwide.
Yeah. Is this the kind of stuff that insurance covers?
Unfortunately, no. There are some medical conditions that can cause hair loss, certain types of alopecia that are related to autoimmune conditions or other systemic problems that insurance companies might be able to cover. But as it relates right now to hairline lowering and hair transplantation, this is all out of pocket.
Yeah. There are now some black folk. Thank God for Jesus. There are some black folk now who can hook you up on the hair front issue if you need that, male or female. Thankfully, two black folk are now in the game. It's called the Crown Hair Institute. It's here in Beverly Hills, California, and one of the founders of that institute is Dr. Carl Truesdale, the only African-American specializing in facial plastic surgery, and now he's doing the hair thing through this Crown Hair Institute. Dr. Truesdale, congrats once again. All the best to you, and thanks for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Good to have you on this program. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Hope you enjoyed it half as much as I did. Thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Glad you could join us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is defending controversial comments he made suggesting Chinese and Jewish people are less susceptible